Thank you so much. The reason I say to the kitchen, because we're going to end up talking about what to have in your kitchen, but we're going to back up just a little bit, and we're going to talk about what to do to get you to the kitchen. And that has to do with planning. Most the theme is going to be about planning, because if you don't have a plan and you get to the kitchen, you're going to be lost. Okay, and we want you to leave here. One of the objects is for you to leave here with your feet solid on the ground and going forward. We don't want you to have to spend time now to rethink what you're going to do. So we're going to talk about that first. And one of the things that's very critical for you to understand is that this battle, and all of the presenters have talked about it in one way or another, this battle that we're in, health issues, it could be with weight, it could be with some disease process, some other kind of infirmity, it is not without reason. There is a warfare that's going on. Those of you who read the Word of God, and you know that there is an enemy in the land. He does not want you to be healthy. And he wars. The very first issue that brought sin into this world is that of appetite. And it continues to be a battle, because if you're not eating right, then that means that the brain is not as healthy either, because the brain is part of the body. If the brain is not healthy, your mind is housed in your brain. So therefore, your mind's not healthy. And that's going to drive how you think and what you do. So we have to understand that. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to get into detail about how to fight this battle, because some of you may know there's a scripture that says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't fight against other people. We fight against what? Power, principalities, wickedness where? In high places. And we have to understand that if we try to do this in our own steam, with our own strength, we're bound to fail. We do have to use that strength. What we're going to talk about is how, number one, to find support from your system of belief. It could be scripture, it could be other thoughts and other ideas that you have, and how to be strong, how to gather up that strength. We're going to spend a bit of time in developing buddy systems. Some of you already have a buddy system in place, others of you do not. We're going to spend a lot of time with that, because it is important. I am a loner by nature, but I have been so encouraged just walking with you all. And I know I haven't been walking much, and I have to give a disclaimer. I have been fighting my own spiritual health battle. I've had a health condition for the last 4 weeks, and it's really trying to take me out, and I'm just deciding that it's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. But just in seeing you all, how much you cheer each other on, because we don't get to see this from the kitchen, but how you cheer each other on and support each other, it has been a blessing to me. And it is really important that you have a buddy system coming out of here. You're going to be thinking, I want you to start thinking now about those buddies. If you don't have buddies, we'd like you to think about either locality and or disease, or both. Okay, so some of you live close to one another, and it would be easier for you to buddy and support each other in more than one way. But if you don't, and you know someone that's fighting the same type of infirmity that you're fighting, that would be another good person for you to buddy up with, because you'll be able to support them, they'll be able to support you, and maybe some of the menus and things also would be very much the same. So I want you to start thinking about that. And the last part of it is, and this is how we get to the kitchen, preparedness. What you need to do once you hit the door, how you need to get prepared to have a new lifestyle, okay, this new extreme makeover. So you do have a packet of papers in front of you, and it talks about meal planning. I'm going to jump to the end, because that's going to lay the foundation for everything that we talk about. No. Yes, one. Okay, I'm sorry, I have a pack. Mine is large print. Yes. Okay. Beverly, someone needs a. Okay, it's just one sheet, and it's front and back. Okay, we're going to quickly. Okay, we'll quickly go through this. At the top, it says meal planning / prepping. Okay, and we need to understand why it's important to prep. It is so important that you prep or be prepared, because things are going to happen. Your schedule is going to get wacky. Some of us have schedules that are much, much too tight. We don't have 24 hours in a day to get things done, and we need to think about how we're going to make some adjustments. But it's also very economical for you to prep, to have an idea of where you're going with your food plan. It's going to save you so much time, and this is one of the ways where you're going to get some time, is if you start to do some preparation there. It will help you meet your goals, because by the time we work into the place where you're about to prep in the kitchen, you will have worked through a lot of your goals. Your goals are going to be embedded in this plan that we're going to put up. The first thing that you need to do, well, one of the first things you need to do really, is to develop a shopping list. What's going to give you your shopping list is going to be the menus that you choose. That's going to drive your shopping list, and then that in turn is going to drive what you do in the kitchen. Okay? There's several ways that you're going to be preparing or organizing your meals. One of the things I love best is, the first one is Ziploc bags. I just do a lot of my preparation in Ziploc bags. Some of the items and this, you can prep whatever it is that you want to prep. Start out very simple though. What I prep that makes life easy for me is I prep my carbs, I pre-cook my pastas, I pre-cook my rice. Sometimes I can pre-cook my potatoes in some instances, but the other ones, the rice and the pasta, they're pre-cooked and they're frozen. So what I do is I have a large commercial size pan at home. When I make rice, I may make 2 or 3 different varieties. I may use just a regular long grain brown rice. Then I may use a brown basmati or jasmine rice. And then I'm looking for different flavors when I do that also. So maybe my brown rice is just going to be seasoned with a little bit of vegetable broth. I'm going to uncover here one of my go-tos now. I'm in a Thai frame of mind. So this I keep on my shelf. It's Thai ginger from Swanson's. It's absolutely delicious. It has lemongrass and ginger, and you'll be able to look at these things. But this is something I keep. I may make a small pan with Thai. I may make another one that has peppers and onions in it, because that probably is going to be my stir-fried batch. And then I use quart-size Ziploc bags. Put them in there, press the air out, and fill out the top, and in the freezer they go. Same thing with my pasta. Different kinds of pasta. You want to put them in Ziploc bags, and these are going to start becoming the basis for you pulling together meals quickly. Yes?
Once you freeze something, within what time frame do you use it?
You can keep it for 6 months, maybe even up to a year. I do not keep it that long because it's in my meal plan. So I'm looking for those items. I'm going to probably, I would say, what I prepare doesn't last more than 2 months. And some of those things are going to be running out, and I may make a note and say, okay, I'm running out of my plain rice. I need to get some more of that made, or if I don't make as much of the seasoned rices and things or pastas, but I may say, I'm running out of those and I need to make more. Yes?
Would you please please state the name of that broth, the first item that you put on?
The brand is Swanson, and it's called Thai ginger. Yes, you'll get a chance to come up and to copy any of these spices that you're interested in. Okay, so we were talking about organization, what you're going to put your products in. I just brought a couple things. Others of you may have other types of equipment that you may use. This is one that's wonderful. If you decide you want to put your whole meal together, it has sections for your meal. Nice, tight seal, because that's going to be very, very important. You can hear it snapping in place. And you just want to put, you can see on the front of mine, I didn't get it off really well, but I put a label here to tell me what's in it, and these stack very nicely in the freezer, and it doesn't get any better than this. When you want to get a meal and you want it tasty, you want it balanced, when you start prepping and end up with a meal that has most of your products in here, your vegetables and your protein and your carbohydrates, you pull it out, 5 minutes, you are eating, and you're eating healthy food. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about how to make sure you don't overcook your products. Another item is these snap containers. They're wonderful also because they snap, they keep the air out, keeps produce longer, your items longer. We're going to go through a demonstration with our mason jars. Last year we did a lot with the mason jars. We're not going to do quite as much, but this is a wonderful daily, maybe 2 to 3 days or so. You're going to be storing things in these kinds of jars and have them available for yourself also. And finally, the good old Chinese store containers. You can go to a restaurant supply house and buy 25 or so of these for a couple dollars. Again, they seal up very, very well. You hear how they snap. You can put a label on these, put these in the refrigerator or the freezer, and you're good to go. So you want to make sure that you equip, if you don't already have good storage containers at home, make a list, go online, go to a Target or Walmart, and a lot of them have what they call systems. So they'll have different varied sizes. Most of them are stackable. You just want to make sure that they're safe for microwaving, that they're safe for, if you microwave, that they're also don't leach the plastic. So you'll want to check on that. That's BP. Sorry, it's my phone. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about, whether, and we've already talked about that, whether you want to package your food as a meal or you want to package individual items. One of the things I want to encourage you to do is, if you've not done meal prepping before, keep it simple when you get started. Don't try to do all 3 meals and everything, because you're going to get overwhelmed quite quickly and you probably will discourage yourself. So maybe you'll start out and say, the best meal for me to prep would be breakfast. I don't get up early enough. I don't seem to get a good balanced breakfast going out. I know that should be my most important meal of the day. So I'm going to start thinking about breakfast, and you want to start, we'll take you through a process of how to determine what those meals are going to look like. But again, if you haven't done it before, don't try to do everything in this first go round. Maybe you'll say you know what, I'm good for not having a healthy snack. And I find that when I'm on my way home, I need something to get me home and give me some energy to fix my dinner meal. So maybe you'll want to get yourself a nice snack, a package, and we'll talk about how to get some of those little meals packaged up and everything. Okay, you need to make a decision about whether you're going to shop and prep on the same day, or if you're going to shop one day and prep another. Sometimes by the time you get finished shopping, get home and get everything out of the car and get it into the refrigerators and things, you're tired. And so you don't want to do it that way if that's the case for you. All right? And this note here where it says startup may have to be tweaked, please leave yourself flexibility. If it doesn't work, don't try to force it. Just redo it. Rethink it and just say, this is going to work better for me. I know this is the way so-and-so does it, and this is the way such and such does it, but it doesn't work for me. So then tweak it and make it work for you. One of the things here, and this is something you can do even outside of the buddies here, is form a co-op. That means if I could do what I wanted to do, if I had the time to do it, I would get the treasurer who assigns things in here, I'd get him to let me use this facility so that we could do a food co-op. And by a food co-op, what I mean, I've already had the name, I've had it for 15 years, it's called Manna Feast. Manna from the Bible and feast. And what it would be is people who would want to start doing preparation work, we would have a menu that goes out to tell what's going to be cooked. Everyone who participates in the co-op, with a few exceptions, would have to participate in the co-op also. But there would be people assigned to doing prep work, cutting up vegetables, other people cooking, someone else maybe packaging, someone else collecting the money. But what would happen is that by the time we finished up maybe a 4-hour morning or whatever, everyone would walk out of that door with meals, prepped, labeled, and everything. Can you imagine how wonderful that would be? And I'd still have that in the back of my mind to try to get that going. But if you can, form something like that, so that with other people, they can be other people who have like diets, or it could just be just maybe certain items that you come together and you make. But that would help also. Okay, we'll talk. I'm going to jump a little bit because we'll talk about some of these preparations. We'll talk about portion control also. I didn't bring my little muffin tin, but you have these new silicone muffin tins. They're wonderful for making muffins, but also if you want to make eggs, you want to do little omelets and things like that, you can do those individual also, and it gives you your good portion size. So don't cook things in such big bulks that you have now to take out a large quantity and you're not going to consume it. When I freeze my rice, what I do is I flatten it out. So when I get ready to take some rice out, maybe I don't need the whole quart, so I just bang it on the side of the counter to start to break it up, and maybe I'll use half of it. So that way I don't have to use it all. So make sure that if you package in a larger quantity, that you can get some of your product out without having to defrost the whole thing, because you're going to lose quality if you do that. Okay? And, excuse me, lastly, what I do here, I have some of the spices. I just took these right out of my cabinet. I like to buy as many products as I can salt-free. That allows me to build a lot of flavor without compromising having too much salt in the final product. So most of the things you see here, they're salt-free items. All of my powders, you can get granulated garlic, and then you get garlic powder or minced onions and minced powder. This is Spike. Spike is a lovely seasoning. You can find it salt-free. Let me warn you, salt-free means it's going to be higher in price. The reason it's going to be higher in price is because salt is the least expensive spice or seasoning. And when they take the salt out, then they have to give you more of the other products. So you're going to pay a little more, but it truly is worth it. I even found this out of a dollar store. It's all-purpose salt-free. You know the seasoned salt? They can't call it seasoned salt because it's no salt, but it's salt-free seasoning, and it's the same ingredients with the paprika and the garlic and everything that they use in like a Lowry seasoned salt. So you can even get that salt-free. So you'll want to make sure that you are getting as many of your products salt-free. Experiment with spices. A lot of people say, well, I don't know what spices to use. When you can, smell it. Is that something? No. Is that something? This is a saucy ranch seasoning. You smell it. Does it smell like it's going to work in your dish? This one is, whose brand is it? Trying to see whose brand it is first. It's the Vegetarian Express, and it's called Saucy Ranch Seasoning. So so what you'll want to do, you can pass this around. What you'll want to do is you'll want to smell spices when you can to see if it's something that works for you. I buy spices, and sometimes I have no clue what it smells like, what it's going to taste like, but especially if it's salt-free. But then what I do is I buy it, and then I sniff it. And then I decide what is it going to taste good. And that, to me, will taste good in some beans. Mrs. Salt-Free, Mrs. Dash, all of the ones that in fact, I have it on here. I just didn't get to it out of if you saw my cabinet, I have a whole full of spices. In fact, I have so many, I have them listed because I love spices. But those are some of the things that you can do in order for you to make sure that you're enjoying your food. Past looking at our food and seeing what it looks like so that it's appetizing to us in the way that we put it together, the next thing is, how good does it taste? We want our foods to taste good. They don't have to be full of sodium, they don't have to be full of sugar and other harmful ingredients for them to taste good. Yes?
Yes. Do you?
It's not on.
Do you? No. Oh, yes, it is.
There you are.
Do you separate the spices for savory and then like sweet stuff?
Mine are separated. I try to do alphabetically, so I try to start A's and on the left side all the way through. They get jumbled up pretty soon. If you're keeping up with Food Channel and all these other places, they're now starting to mix, to cross over with spices and seasonings. They're starting to put cayenne and sriracha and sweet things and desserts. In fact, I had a juice I'm still trying to get this guy's recipe. It would have tamarind. I picked up the flavors of tamarind, pineapple, and sriracha. It was fabulous. I don't know what else was in it, but this is something that you can play with. Experiment with things. Don't experiment with a big pot, but with a small pot. Maybe you take out a serving and then say I wonder what it tastes like if I put this in. I wonder what it tastes like if I put that in it. And work with it. You'll create some wonderful dishes. And if you cook a dish and you're not really happy with it, then try to rethink it. Try to repurpose it. I always say, for me, I have to eat my mistakes. But what I try to do is I try to make it a little better. If I do something wrong, then I try to correct it. If I have a little too much seasoning in it, and I say, this is so much seasoning, I'm losing the flavor of the product. Then what I try to do is I try to stretch it out. Maybe I'll add if it's a pot of beans, maybe I'll add some soup to it. Some potatoes to it, or some rice or something to spread that flavor out. Yes?
Are there different flavors of vegetable broths?
Absolutely. I didn't bring the vegetable broth, but I'm glad you brought it up. If you're cooking, and let's just say you have peppers and onions and some celery and everything, take all of those parts that you don't want to cook, throw them into a pot, put some water in them, and make your own broth. That's the cheapest way to do it. Okay? Just strain it off and make your own broth. You can freeze it in ice cube trays. You can freeze it in Ziploc bags, and therefore you'll have it. But what, again, here it is. This one I didn't have, because I use it so fast, I did not have my salt-free vegetable broth, but you'll want to get salt-free vegetable broth also. Again, they put so much salt in this. But this is Emerald's organic vegetable broth, and you'll begin to learn which ones you like. Some of them have more of one vegetable in them than others. My favorite is Pacifico, Pacifico. And I like it also because they come in little, I guess they're about 6-ounce containers. That helps me not to have to open up a large container and then repackage it. Okay, so I've jumped to planning, but now I want to talk about this spiritual battle. Beverly, if you can you, yes, my extreme makeover plan. What we're going to do now is we're going to begin to plan. As I said, it's key that we plan. Beverly's going to pass out a sheet to you, and it's entitled My Extreme Makeover Plan, and we're going to begin to plan. The very first thing on the form is you need to be able to get yourself in a place of successful thinking. You've heard all of the presenters at some time or another. They've talked about how things are internal. It begins internally. That's where you have to begin. So what I want you to do is I want each of you to, on the paper, think about, in fact, I'm going to have, as the papers are being passed around, I want someone to tell me if you already have a scripture that is your scripture of power, of strength, of victory. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Okay, I didn't repeat. Okay, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, they did ask for the mic. No. Now this one.
Oh, Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path.
Amen. That's good. Say it again. Okay, you heard. Mine is Exodus 15:6. I always get it backwards, maybe 6:15. But it says, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the Lord thy God, and do all that is right in his sight, and keep all his statutes, I will let none of these diseases come upon you that have come upon the Egyptians. I'm paraphrasing just a little bit. That's one of them. Okay? Praise the Lord, O my soul. Say it again. That's Psalms 103. And it says, praise the Lord, O my soul. Oh boy, I'm pulling a blank. Say, soul. And forget not all his benefits. There we go. Who healeth all thy diseases. These are scriptures that are important to me because they deal with health. They deal with strength.
Can you please repeat the first one? Exodus what?
Exodus 15:6 or 6:15, it says, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and do all that is right in his sight, and keep all of his statutes, he says that I will bring none of these diseases upon you that I brought upon the Egyptians. So he's saying if you do right, I've created you, I've given you everything you need for health. If you will just follow, you won't have the disease. And the diseases that we have, those were diseases that the Egyptians had in former times. So this, say it again. No, 3 John 2, 3, but, and be in health,
in good health,
even as
physically,
thy soul, right.
just as I know your soul prospers.
Okay, what version is that?
That's the Amplified version.
It's the Amplified version, okay, because I know it from the King James, but that's stated beautifully also. Okay, did you guys hear that? Beloved, I wish above all things that thou prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. Said 3 John 2. 2, yes. So what we're going to do, though, when you get in your groups, you guys are going to share. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. There may be other thoughts that you have also that are encouraging to you, that whenever you get in a tight place and you just need to encourage yourself, that's something that you say. So we're going to get in groups in about 5 minutes, and you're going to have a chance to share some of your scriptures and write down those scriptures that are going to bring victory to you, strength to you, power to you. Because as I said, you are not in this alone. You are going to be buffeted. If you think it was bad before, make a decision that you're going to improve your health. You're going to bring glory to God, and you will find out that you have an enemy in the land. Okay? And I'm not saying that to be negative, but it's the truth, and you need to be prepared. Okay? So what we're going to do, let's just look at this at the form quickly, and then we're going to break out into groups. As we just did a little preview of the scriptures or the thoughts, the ones that are going to give you strength, bring you victory, or help you to remember the promises that you have. Okay, next, and I only made 2 spaces. You may end up with a support system, a group system of 5 people or how many ever. Again, you'll want it to be people who are close by, hopefully, so that you can do some things together. But if not, then choose those people that you know that will be an inspiration to you.
We will have that breakout session tomorrow, so you can just get into your groups now. They're done by region already. We already do it by region. So if you live in Bermuda, you're together in Bermuda.
Do they know?
If you live in D.C., you should be together in D.C. If you live in Maryland, you're together in Maryland. So the breakout needs to be by region.
Do they know that?
Because we've done it for the last 2 years. We're going to do it again tomorrow.
Wonderful. Okay. So they can still break out now.
Yes, they can break out now.
Okay, it's going to be a locality group. So all I'm going to ask, it's just about 3 after. So we're going to spend 10 minutes in your group, and what you're going to go through is, in addition to getting the names and contact information, could be a telephone number, email, whatever ways to get in contact. And also, you'll want to have a prayer focus for each person. What is it that they're asking you to pray for them about most? Because we're going to be lifting people up in prayer, giving our thoughts towards them when we're not around them. Sometimes, and this is something that I find, if someone comes to my mind, I say, oh, I wonder how Jeanette's doing. You know, the next thing I say is, Father, I don't know what's going on in Jeanette's life, but right now I ask you to be with her. Right now I ask you to meet her needs, whatever they are. You don't think about people for no reason at all. When people come to your mind, that means you pick up the phone and call, or just whisper a prayer if you can't do that. So you need to be helping each other. This is the reason for the buddy system. And finally, we're going to look at our makeover goals. What's your spiritual goal? Are you getting up in the morning and having a time of meditation? Can I get your attention? You're getting distracted, and this is very, very important. When you wake up in the morning, is the first thing on your mind gratitude, appreciation for the fact that you are alive, that you have your own thoughts? You can throw one leg across the bed and then the other. There are people who wish they could pull themselves up and get up out of the bed. Gratitude. Are you getting enough prayer? Are you having time with the Lord, time in meditation, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, maybe even during the day? Are you in that way? Physical. What are your physical goals? Maybe your physical goal is, I walked a mile here in 18 minutes. When I get home, I want to get it by the end of the year where I'm walking a mile in 15 minutes, or maybe even in 17 minutes. Make them realistic goals, but what you're going to do, again, you're going to share this with your buddies, because they're going to be checking in and asking you, how are you making out with your goals? What can I do to help you reach your goal? Sometimes it's no more than just listening to a person talk about what, most times when we talk, we solve our own problems. We don't need a whole lot of people telling us what to do. We just need to hear our mind, hear our thoughts put into words, and we end up solving our own problems. And we need to be a support system like that to one another. And finally, the mental part of it. You got to talk yourself sometimes, self-talk. You've got to talk yourself out of a bad mood. I have a plaque at home that says, don't believe everything you think. Yes. And that's what I say, because sometimes you think something, before you know it, it becomes truth in your head. And you start making it, and it's not. And you have to rethink how you think. So these are going to be goals, and you're going to be sharing that. Again, it's now 5 after, until 15 after. You're going to break out in your groups. You're going to have to move quickly, because I want you to get these things finished. As Rhonda said, you're going to finish this up tomorrow, so we just want you to get these things started. When you get home, we all want you to have everything in place. Now we're going to begin to start to plan, because as the old adage says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So you'll have 3 sheets that are being handed out to you. I'll explain these sheets to you once you get them. Just take one. Just take one and pass it down. They're going to pass them out to you separately, each sheet separately, so it doesn't get confusing. Take one, pass it down. Okay? No, you have 3. They look very, very similar. I'll explain to you the difference once you get your sheets. Take one and pass it down. Each person is going to, you will end up getting 3. Shelley will give you one, and Beverly will give you the other. So you end up with 3 sheets. They will look similar. They are the structure of them, but they're different. And I'll explain to you what the difference is once you get all 3 sheets. Yeah, she's coming. Do you? Okay. Do you have 2 separate sheets?
When I was down there, I only have one.
You have 2. Okay, this is 2. You have 2. You have 2. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Okay, you have 2. So Beverly's coming around with the 3rd sheet. Beverly, let me take some of those so I can pass these out. They don't have them here.
But we're missing another sheet.
You do have it. Okay, you have the one she's giving out. Then it's the one that Rhonda has. Okay, Rhonda's coming up now, so she'll give you your last sheet. Okay, this side, does everyone have 3? You don't have 3 yet? Okay. Bev, give me some and I'll pass them out in front. Just give me. Okay. Okay, does everyone have 3 sheets of paper? Hopefully you have 3 different sheets of paper. Rhonda's coming to you right now. She'll give you. Okay. Wait, where were you sitting? I was back there. Okay, then Beverly is probably. Okay, then you should get one from Beverly, one from Shelley, and one from Rhonda. Okay, does everyone here now have 3 sheets of paper? Okay? Okay, let's get started. Let's get started because we really have to move fast. I am going to draw you. Okay, let me just give you a brief description of what you have here. This is something that I use to help me plan. One of the things that I use to help me plan. You have to have a plan. Even for the people, I'm type A, so it's not hard for me. But for those of you who are not, and it's real hard for you to keep things going. If you will start with something that helps you to organize your thoughts, organize your behavior, you're going to be successful. And I'm just sharing with you what I do. Each of you may find a different planning mechanism that helps you, but I'm just trying to get you to think about, I've got to plan what I'm going to do. The sheet that has a 5 o'clock devotion, the one that has a 5 o'clock devotion, I want to draw your attention to that. This is my personal planner. This is how I start out. 5 o'clock devotion, and you see personal. The reason that is already typed in and is not blank is because every morning, my spiritual goal is I have to have devotion, okay? My personal devotion, okay? Then you'll see 7:30. 7:30 is family devotion. That's devotion with my husband and myself. So I get up 5 o'clock to have my own devotion, and then 7:30 we come together and we have our devotion. These things are not negotiable, okay? 8:30, breakfast. Maybe it happens 8:15, maybe it happens 8:45, but somewhere in that area, I'm having breakfast. Noontime, I'm stopping to have prayer. Okay? However, it could be a minute, it could be thinking as I'm driving, whatever it is, but I know someplace around noontime, I would have to recenter myself. Got to get back to my thoughts. 7 o'clock to 7:15 is when I fill out this sheet for the next day. Okay? I plan that in. Why? Because it's not negotiable. I have to be ready to move into the next day. So at the end of my day, I'm planning what I'm going to do the next day. 7:30, I'm making preparation for bed. I have to get into bed early. Does it happen all the time? No, but do I plan for it to happen? Yes. And then 8 o'clock, I'm having evening devotion with my husband. And then by 8:30, I'm getting to sleep. He doesn't get to sleep until 11:30, but that's on him. For me, I'm planning to get to sleep at that time. Okay? So this, again, is my personal one. I've given you 2 blanks in the event that you want to use these. You don't have to use these. What I would do on any given day is I'd write the date at the top, and then whatever I need to take care of during that day gets filled in those blank spots. I did bring. Okay, I'm going to keep talking to you. The difference in these 2 forms is one, if you'll notice, is in half-hour increments. The other one, the 2-sided form, is in 15-minute increments. So that means if there's 15 minutes or so that works better for you, a schedule that works better for you. Is there a clip? I had a clipboard. Anybody see a clipboard around? Is it okay? I just wanted you to see, this works for me. This is what I use to get my notes and everything. Here's something from last year. And all along the sides, I write all along the sides. Some of them you flip it over and you can see notes on the back. Here I had some different tasks to do. So I started writing the tasks down the sides also if they didn't fill in. And I tell you, I'm type A, I'm anal. I also have this, my day timer. And I fill out my day timer on a daily basis. Now sometimes there's something I need to do and that's not good enough, so then I have this little pad and I'll fill this in. It may be some weekly things that I need to do. I'll fill this in, exactly. You can, electronic. If you have electronic day timer or keeper, whatever it is that works for you. If you need 2 times, I do, because the more I write it and the more it gets embedded in my mind as to what I need to do. But whatever it is that works for you, so that you have a plan, you will be much more relaxed, there'll be much less stress, and you'll find you'll become more victorious in what your goals are. If it stops working for you, then fix it. Do whatever you need to do to make it work. But this is key for you. It is going to be key. One of the other things I have, Beverly, if you could, Bev, if you can, I need your prayer right now also, people. If you would, just pray for me, please. I'm having some distress. If you would hand out these 2 pages. Beverly's going to hand out 2 sheets of paper for you. These are daily minders about how you're feeling on any given day. Again, if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, it's a recommendation that I make is that you keep track of how you're feeling. When you do that, you can go back then and you can begin to see what it is that may cause me to feel a certain way. The one that has the atomic sketch here is it allows you to talk about where you're having pain or some type of discomfort. So you can it just tells you just to put a circle. Let's just say you're having an ache in your shoulder, the right shoulder. You can just circle that. You have a place to put the day and the date. You can take your weight and your other vitals as often as you want. If you blood pressure, you probably would want to take it every day. But if it's, okay, you should have 2 sheets. It's the one, oh, okay. You should only have 1. Okay, you should only have 1. Okay, that's fine. Okay. They just start with, okay. You'll also see that there's an area for you to fill out the weather. Very often the weather will impact how you're feeling. So you can just make a check in whatever the weather is. If you're taking any drug medications, if you're using vitamins and herbs, any of those things make a notation of. On the back, it'll talk about your condition. Are you having problems with the ears, nose, or throat, mouth, head, neck, and back? Any of those areas, any comments you need to make, and then you'll talk about what you're eating, how much you're eating of any particular item. You'll fill that out also. That will help, as I said, sometimes to help you to gauge what may be causing a problem for you in terms of diet, weather, mood. It even asks you about how you're feeling. So though all those things on the other side, it asks you about your mood. Are you feeling great? It says, in general, today I feel, you feel good, you feel fair, do you feel poor? So that'll help you to keep an idea about what's going on. The other sheet is very similar to it, the one without the anatomical depiction, and it gives, again, you can fill out more information here. It talks more about calories or grams of products that you're eating, your food and beverage for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for snacks, your physical activity, and any other notes that you may want to make. So these are just some other ideas and recommendations as to how you might plan to understand what's going on. Sometimes even if when you say, I feel poorly today, don't just say, I feel poorly today. Write down why you feel poorly today, okay? Someone called me the first thing in the morning and said such and such to me, you know, and that upset me, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to talk about. All right? Anybody have any questions or comments? All righty, we're going to move on now.
Just a moment, we have a question.
Yes, I'm sorry, Margaret.
Yes, speaking in terms of moods, is there a healthier, I guess you're going to show us, a healthier way to do comfort food? Because a lot of times, especially those of us that live in the northeastern corridor, when it's snowing outside and you know, you can't get out, and you just get like, you know, that's where people go and empty the shelves off for all the comfort foods. But the comfort foods put weight on us.
Yes, I hear you. One of the things that is so true is if you don't have certain foods in your home that you know that you don't want to eat, then they will never become a temptation to you. There may be situations, though, where in your household there are other people who have those foods. This is, again, where your scriptures come in, or your thoughts. This is where your buddies come in. And to directly address your question, there are comfort foods. The comfort foods that you're thinking of are probably not the comfort foods that we're recommending, is what it boils down to. Some of your comfort foods that we recommend would be smoothies, because they're all fruit, and they have nutritional value to them. They're just not empty calories. Some of the flavored popcorns, I know that you had different types of flavored popcorns. No, I'm just trying to think of some other things that you wouldn't normally think.
For example, a meal.
For your meal? Yeah. Okay. There'll be things in the recipe. I know one day you have shepherd's pie coming up. That's a good comfort. That's a good comfort food because it has the carbohydrates in it. Now, the thing about it is that you're not going to have it slathered with the butter and all the rich cheeses and sauces and things, but exactly. But it is a good comfort. It is a good comfort food. Even having mashed potatoes can be very soothing because but you're going to smash those. You're going to clean them up, keep the skin on, and you're going to smash them. Then what you're going to do is you're going to find some nice seasonings that really build that flavor for you. Okay, fresh. I keep fresh garlic. I mince my garlic and I keep it fresh all the time.
Question on this side first.
I just have a question for the campers. Does anyone have an app that they use on their phone to track their daily activities and stuff?
Yes.
If you could share that, that would be nice.
Okay, we can do that tomorrow because we're going to go over the SMART plan tomorrow, which is about being specific, and we can share our apps in our groups and with the whole team. Okay, this question's first and then yours.
Jeanette.
I just have a question about Jell-O. Jell-O. Can you talk about Jell-O?
Okay, yes. The brand of Jell-O, it's a gelatin dessert. The brand Jell-O has a product in it called gelatin, and gelatin is made from pork. So there are other foods out. Dole has done a very nice job. They have a lot of gel desserts where they have peaches and certain flavors or whatever. They don't use gelatin. They use Dole. And even with the gelatin company, they have a product called Snack Pack, and it's gelatin, but it's not made with gelatin. So anything you see that says gelatin in the ingredients, and you can find it in many, it's a thickener, and you can find it in many different products, they will have gelatin. You're talking about using it for dessert, for a comfort food. The ones that are made there, the Dole will make them with fruit juice, and they usually will have fruit in them. So they would be less calories. But again, that's something you want to use in moderation because of they have some that are made calorie free. And exactly. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Who has the mic?
How do you get?
She was talking about sugar-free. You have to be careful because most of them have aspartame, which is not a very good sugar product.
Right.
The popcorn was very enjoyable the other night, but what I want to know is how do you get the seasonings to stick to it? I mean, I pop popcorn and I season it, and everything's down on the bottom of the pan.
You want to spray.
And then the second half of my question is the buttery was good, but I know that was not butter on that popcorn.
No. There are sprays. There are butter-flavored sprays that are out, and you want to just lightly mist them. Gives it just enough for the seasonings to hold. Yes, so Pam is probably the most popular brand, but you can buy other varieties also. Yes. Shirley?
I was going to say, first of all, Marva, I use a lot of zucchini. I have a spiral maker, and instead of using pasta, the only time I really eat pasta is here. I do the zucchini squash. I run it through my spiral maker, and even when I go out to eat, I'll take some zucchini squash with me in lieu of rice. And so you can make spaghetti, you can make macaroni and cheese with it. Just instead of the pasta, use zucchini squash through a spiral maker.
And that is quite good. You may think it's strange. I'm telling you, I tasted it and it blew me away. Someone else in Korea made it for me. Any more questions?
I'm going to have to ask the questions hold because we have two more important things that we need to do. One is we're not going to get time to do this, but I'm going to hand out the recipes anyway. Beverly, if you can handle the recipes. What we were going to do is we were going to actually break out into groups, and maybe you can do this in some of your spare time, each of your groups. Break out in groups, and there are a couple of different recipes. I'm just going to use this one for an example. It's called Heart Healthy Pasta Salad. Absolutely delicious. And let's just say you're going to plan your meal for the week, and one of your meals is going to be heart healthy pasta. You're going to look at this recipe and decide what products you need in order to make it. So that's going to drive your shopping list. You're going to look at all your recipes. You're going to put them in. Let's just say you're going to do this one. You're going to do David's Delightful Dinner, and you're going to do kale salad. Those are going to be 3 items that make up a meal. You're going to look at these, and you're going to now start to develop a shopping list from it. So you're going to need to have whole wheat pasta, black olives, bell pepper, green peas frozen, gingers, fresh scallions, chickpeas, sweet onions, broccoli florets, and a protein. Okay, and then you need a dressing to go on it. So it's going to call for olive oil, cayenne, onion, some more bell pepper, some spiced seasoning, lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, chicken style seasoning, fresh garlic, and honey. This is going to help to drive your list. So if you don't have some of these items at home, you know that you're going to start creating a shopping list to put this on. Now we'll go to David's Delightful Dinner. Calls for an eggplant. You already have garlic on this list, so you don't need to add garlic again. This one also calls for dill. Calls for olive oil. You have olive oil in that, so you won't need it. Calls for capers, and it calls for salt. So if you don't have in these items, that's going to be added to your shopping list. This is the kale salad. It calls for lemon juice. You know you already have lemon juice being called for here, so you'll have your lemon, onion powder, Bragg's liquid aminos, garlic powder, olive oil. You already have black olives. You already have from the list. Green onions you have for another item. Radishes, bell pepper you have, the red pepper. Roma tomato didn't show up, so maybe now you need to add Roma tomato to it. On and on and on. So whatever you come up with that shopping list, you know when you go to the store, you need to get those items so that when you begin to cook your food on your prep day, that you will have all of the food ingredients that you need. When you decide, try to schedule your prep on a day that can be consistent. Maybe it's on the weekend, it's in the morning or the afternoon, and so try to get it done then. Again, if you can combine with other people and do it, it makes it fun, and also it's going to help you to get it done faster, to get your cooking done faster. Start simple again. Just she needs to get the. Okay. One of the other things I wanted to say to you is that if you don't have the time to maybe prepare all of you want to do dinner meals and you don't have the time to prepare everything, what you can do, and it's a little expensive, but it still helps you to get down that road of preparation, is buy some of your products already prepped. Wegmans and these supermarkets now, they will cut up, chop, dice, slice vegetables for you. They will put together little mixed packages. Maybe that will help get you down the road a little bit until you can find the time to do these things. So you can look at those things, and again, let's just say they have a container, 8 ounces of chopped celery and peppers, and you say, I don't need 8 ounces. I would buy, but I don't need 8 ounces. Take it out, that's right, put it in a Ziploc bag, package it, and put it in the freezer, okay? Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. That's an expensive way to do it, really expensive, because that's $8.99 a pound. But I'm thinking of the pre-packed. I will repeat, yes. Go ahead.
Well, sometimes if I don't need a lot, I just will go to Whole Foods and buy like celery already chopped up or onions so that you're not wasting food.
Yes.
And then take it home and use that.
Yes, but it's that $8.99 a pound is what gets me, Lynette. when I take people to the food bar and everything, they look at something and looks so good, and they just start packing it on, and they putting the juice in there, and I'm like, that's $8.99 a pound. You really don't want to put that much on. You want to drain that juice off.
Do we still have a store here on campus?
Yes,
that
the
we
ABC.
will be going to?
I don't know. Do you know if the ABC will be open before they leave? Okay. So, but we'll have that answer for you before the end. Okay, so we've talked about, first of all, you have to start with a plan. You need to understand internally is where the planning first begins. You've got to have that support system with your friends, with others, so that you, when you hit a brick wall, when you get frustrated or overwhelmed, you've got someone to help talk you through the process. Once you get, the way you get started with your whole kitchen process is you start by deciding what you're going to cook, what you're going to prepare. Keep it simple in the beginning. Then you decide what your menu is going to look like. Once you know what your menu looks like, then that's going to drive what your shopping list is going to be. Once you shop, you have everything you need now to get to the kitchen. We have just 2 more items to show about getting some things done quickly. Jeanette's going to help me out, and I'm going to pull around my table. Last year, we showed you quite a few ideas about how to use mason jars to prep some of your foods. And one of the things, as Jeanette and I were walking one day, she says, I do my salads. So Jeanette is going to do her salad. She's going to show us how she does her salad. Okay? So here's, yes. Yes, that's, I'll get you. She needs gloves. I can get those.
I know I need to eat salads every day, and I am not a cook. Sometimes I just don't feel like it. And I'm not consistent with it, but when the mood hits me, I do make my salads in a jar. Now, I went to Whole Foods, and they have a wide mouth pint jar, which I use, and I like that better because it gives me more room. Sometimes I make my salads for home, and sometimes I take them with me. But I just find that the wide mouth jar works better for me. And I also use the wide mouth jar. I use the jars sometimes and put my individual ingredients in it. Like if I have to cut up an onion, I can't eat a whole onion at one time, so I cut up the onion and put it in the jar. I cut up another, maybe a cucumber, and I put it in a jar. Now, they haven't talked about it here, but for years I've used Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Okay. So I'll put a little apple cider vinegar or a little lemon juice in there to make sure it stays fresh until I can use it. And
I'll hold this right here, your gloves. Okay. So we're going to use just a regular, this is called a regular size, but this particular jar, even though it's small, this is my garlic jar. This is what I mince my garlic in. And this is wide mouth. I just wanted to show you what the size of the wide mouth would look like. But it's going to be a quart-sized jar.
now, what I usually do is put, like I said, I use apple cider vinegar and olive oil as a dressing. I've been using it for years, and I really like it. I think you have to acquire a taste for it, so if you don't like it, you can always get whatever your favorite dressing is, and put your favorite dressing in there first.
This is your dressing.
The thing about, for me, apple cider vinegar, I can shake that up in there, and it keeps my salad fresh.
Yeah. We would recommend that you use lemon juice when you can, because for some, the cider vinegar can be caustic to the lining of the stomach. So this is your dressing. Okay. So we have a dressing prepared, one of the dressings you've enjoyed this week.
I am not that good. I can't make my own dressing.
Yes.
So I just use a bunch of herbs that I have. I have a lot of herbs in the, and I just use whatever one I feel like it at the time.
Mm-hmm. All of your
and I put that in first, and then I put all of. I always use celery. Celery is my favorite, and I also use onion. Both of those help me because of my blood pressure. So those go in first. If I'm really inclined, I'll put some beets in there, but I'm not much a chopper, so beets don't always get in there.
Now, the order that she's using is very important also. If you'll notice, she's using the more dense, the harder vegetables first, so they don't get soggy. She's
And-
putting some carrots in, and they can be chopped finer or depending on how you like them.
And then once I've put all of that in there, I usually use seeds and nuts. Sometimes nuts bother me, so I generally have a mixture that has both seeds and nuts in it. So I mix all of that up together, and then I throw that in.
Don't use them all.
And you have apricots here.
No,
I
this is for something else.
I use cranberries. Cranberries are good. I use cranberries. I can get the apple-infused cranberries that doesn't have sugar in it. It just uses apple juice for the sweetness. So I use those cranberries, and then my cranberries would go in next. And then finally, the last thing is the vegetables. But I found out with these jars, if I took it out and I had the greens as whole leaves, it was difficult to mix it up. So I generally, and I use a lot of kale, so I will chop it fine, make it finer, and then just put the kale on top.
That's baby spinach, so you can tear it. The dressing is, no, this is breakfast. This is this is a salad. We'll make breakfast in a minute, but this is a salad. This is the way Jeanette makes her salad. So she's walking you through the process, and you could just tear that and that.
What tenderizes the kale? Usually my kale is
Apple cider vinegar tenderizes anything, and I put that in there. But I mean, lemon juice would probably do the same thing. And if you cut it up small, whatever kind of salad dressing that you use is going to work. And my kale is usually like that.
Okay, so it's
usually-
actually shredded. Or
Yeah,
julienne.
it's usually
And what
shredded.
you can also do is purchase the baby kale, and that's more tender, baby kale. Okay, yes.
Why are you making the salad in a jar as compared to a different type of container?
You may use other containers. This is just showing you one of the ways that you can prep some of your food items so that they're ready to go. Now it's easy to carry. You can put a good serving in there. You can make 3 or 4 of these, put these in your refrigerator, and when you get ready to put your meal together, let's say you work outside of the home, and you get ready to put your lunch together, you grab a jar of this. You may have something else in a jar or in one of these other containers that we talked about, and you just put 2 or 3 items together and you're ready to go. You may use this, yes. Hold this, please.
The other thing
Hold this,
that I wanted to mention, I don't like these metal tops. And you can go to anywhere now, Target or anywhere, and you can replace these with plastic tops because these metal ones tend to rust after a while. And I am a jar person. I've been using jars since they made mayonnaise in jars, which is what I used to use. I would save my mayonnaise jars. So some of my jars are probably 30 years old. So I just like to use jars. I find that they work well, for anything in the refrigerator, in the cabinet. When you come to my house, it's nothing but jars all over the place.
Okay. And some of the other items, thank you, Jeanette, so much. I really appreciate that. Beverly will give out a sheet to you, and it has websites, and it's all about how to prep using containers. So people bake lasagna in them, especially these mason jars, because they can take the hot temperatures. You can bake
bake lasagna in them. We're going to make, and I was going to ask for a volunteer. Someone wants to make the breakfast cereal. You had a breakfast cereal this week called muesli or overnight oatmeal. Is anyone willing to put it together? I have products here, and you can use the jar. And, okay, Carol. So your ingredients are going to be, it's fine. If we were going to ingest this or whatever, then she would wash her hands and put gloves on. But just for the sake of speed, we're going to. So there you can put as much of the oats in here. You can use this as for measuring. Yeah, she's not going to use gloves, but as I said, if you were doing this at home. And well, you can put more in. And this is going to drive how you eat. If you eat a pretty decent amount of cereal, then maybe you would fill it about halfway. Okay? Those are rolled oats, old-fashioned rolled oats, or you can use the pre-cooked ones. Here's some raisins. And you can, again, add the raisins. We did have the walnuts also, but she used them all. I was trying to tell you, just to use half. Well, that's okay. If you want nuts in your cereal, your breakfast cereal, coconut, dried coconut. You can use, with the apricots, you can probably would want to cut these, you know, so they're smaller and easier to eat. But anybody have any other ideas about different types of fruit or nuts they like in their cereal, their breakfast cereal? There are apricots right here, that's okay. There are apricots here. Any cranberries? I like the orange cranberries. It's an orange flavored cranberry that's absolutely delicious. Also, blueberries, dried blueberries. Now, pretty much for this, you'll want to use your dried fruits over the fresh fruits, but when you get ready to have it, you can always add fresh fruit to it. So you're going to now add your liquid. This is rice milk. You can use rice milk, soy milk, cashew milk. I tell you guys are so fortunate. When we started drinking nut milks, we had to make it ourselves. You'd have to blend it and strain it and everything. Now you just go to the store and you buy it. This, again, it's the same as you had with the overnight. You're just going to let it soak overnight, and when you get up in the morning, you can either heat it and eat it, or you can just eat it as it is, because the oats are going to soften as it heats overnight. Okay, so this is another idea of how you can prepare. If you find that you're having trouble getting up and getting a good balanced breakfast, you can fix a couple of these jars so when you get up in the morning, while you're getting dressed, maybe while you're taking your shower, if you want it cooked, what you'll do is you'll put it in a small pot, put it on low on the stove, go take your shower. By the time you come back, your cereal's ready, because everything has already been portioned out and all you needed to do was to heat it up. You can sit down and eat it. Or if you don't want it, if you just want it as it is, just that it's soaked, it still is digestible that way.
Any other liquids beside milk or yogurt?
I use apple juice.
Apple juice.
Yeah, I like my cereals with apple juice. So that's what I use to take them. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and again, this, you're going to adjust to suit yourself. By the time this is soaked up, there won't be any loose milk, okay, because it's going to drink it up. If you want it a little bit looser, then you can add a little more liquid to it. Okay? We are way past time. The door is open. Thank you so much for your attention. There's another sheet that we'll give out to you, and this is one for websites for meal planning and prepping ideas. Plenty. Oh, she did give it to you? Great. Okay, great. Thank you again. If you have any questions, I'll be available during lunch. During lunch. During lunch. During lunch. During lunch. During lunch. During lunch.